Hello guys, welcome back to Solve Electronics. So, I have here my hotspot, as we can see, and today I'm going to show you how you can enable SSH. Now, it was quite difficult to figure out how to get it working, but I've finally managed to get it working. It's a little bit different from how I got it working originally. In this one, we have to use a memory card. But I want to quickly explain how I managed to come to this conclusion. So a couple of videos ago we talked about how the Browan team actually blocked SSH and ADB, which I thought was really sad because I would like to have access to my device. I want to be able to check out what it's doing, monitor it in different ways and in different ways that aren't offered on the dashboard. And it also means that we can help the network too. We can read logs, we can create logs, we can do all kinds of different things. It's Linux. We can do a lot of things with it. So we can also help out a lot of other people if we choose to go that route as well. So let me just quickly go through how I did it. So a guy messaged me on Discord. He knows who he is, and he told me, hey, you can actually access the Browan using the UART connector. And I thought, oh, okay, cool, I will check it out when I get my hotspot. So I got my hotspot and I had to buy a UART to USB connector. I whacked it in and I opened CoolTerm, booted the hotspot, and it showed up. Fantastic. So now I need to figure out what options I have. I can't log into the hotspot using UART because it asks for a password that we don't know. So how can we get around it? Well, I know that the Linux operating system usually is open to modification if you can get that operating system or file system onto another machine. But that's not possible with this because the flash is embedded onto the board. So how do we do that? Well, it has a boot system, as everything does, which means that it's obviously capable of booting an operating system. So why don't we see if that boot system has the capabilities of booting other operating systems? I had a look around and I can see that I can do memory card boot, I can do USB boot. Cool. So I tried booting a operating system that I downloaded from the internet, any ARM operating system, and it didn't work naturally. And when I read the logs, it crashed on loading drivers and different things, so I wondered how I could get it to work. So the only way I think I can get this to work is if I edit the kernel, because it's crashing on loading this USB driver. So I tried to look at ways of editing the kernel, and it turns out it's pretty much impossible. The only way to do it is if you basically build a kernel yourself. So that's pretty much exactly what I did. I found a kernel that was available online. It was on GitHub, the RK3566 kernel, and I used Ubuntu for Windows to install the kernel. And then once I'd done that, I basically started to modify it. So I was changing different things, looking at the USB options and whatever else, which was the main thing that I was trying to obviously stop from loading. And I just got rid of a lot of other things that it was trying to load because this kernel was actually built for a Quartz board. Anyway, so I did all of this and I put it onto SD card and it worked great, fantastic. It booted into Manjaro. So I wanted to see then if it was possible if I could mount the operating system or the root file system of the Browan. So I ran my command to mount the partition and it worked. And so then I was able to view it and look through it and well, I wasn't able to modify any of the files because trying to do that through a console is pretty difficult. So I wrote some scripts, made some changes, tested a few things, and eventually I got it to work. So the way that it works now is I have a service that will load a script, and then this script will basically copy over all of the necessary items, and it makes a few changes as well. So what it does is it stops the updates that we get from Browan from replacing these files so it persists, which means that we can always have SSH access, which is perfect. So I'm going to show you now how you can do that too. What you need to do is you need to have an SD card, and what we need to do is we need to flash this SD card with the image. The link for the image will be in the description below, and it's pretty simple how we need to do it. So what we need to do is, well, this is my new hotspot, and you can tell because it still has this void warranty sticker over the SD card, which is nonsensical, absolutely nonsensical. I just need to remove that. Okay, I'll deal with that later. So this has the image on it. I'm going to put it in here, and it's really simple. We just place it in. We get our power cable, okay? And I'm going to boot the hotspot into recovery mode by pressing the button, okay, and then applying the power. So now we see that the Helium logo is lit, but there are no lights, and that's how you know that you're in boot mode, okay, or this recovery mode. And all we do is we wait, because once the script has finished, it will reboot the hotspot, and then when we see the green lights, we know that it's working. The whole process takes around about 3 minutes or so. So I'll just fast forward this part. Okay, so we can see that it's rebooted on its own. That's great, that means it's ran through the script. So I'm just going to pull the power out. Now, take out the memory card of this hotspot. And plug that back in there. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to test. I'm going to plug this antenna in here so that we don't burn the concentrator, because that's not what we want to do. I'm going to power it up, and let's move to the computer. Okay, so we are back at the computer. So let's have a look and see what's going on. So we can see here that the time since boot for the hotspot is 0, because we've literally just started it. That's fine, perfect. So what we need to do now, let's just check to see if we can access the hotspot through SSH. So what I need to do is type in here SSH root at IP address, and then the port, which is 168. Now it's asking me for the password, which default is password. Perfect, we're in. So now I can cd to the root directory. You can do this too. It's very, very simple, very easy. And once it's done, it works, and it will work. It will stay like this. The update will do a lot of other things as well. So what it will do, it will allow the hotspot to update every day for new Docker images on the Helium repository site here. The problem is with the Browan is that Browan take a while to upload or change the settings on their servers, allow the hotspot to find the images on the repository, and what this update does will allow it to basically find them on its own without the need for Browan to commission them. So there's that, and it will also update the operating system of the hotspot. It will check for updates every week, which is good. So we'll keep our miner up to date. It will perform quite well. So that's it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, stay tuned. We've got some other things we need to do.